I'm Lauren Ritter, and this is 5 Minutes. With all the hype of the royal wedding, today's show will be a lifestyle piece on a few romantic stories. Let's take a look at our first story. Miss Lily Bart is your quintessential 29-year-old full of beauty and life, looking for love among New York elite's most eligible bachelors. Although the tragic demise of her family has left her financially vulnerable, Miss Bart luckily still has her beauty and charm to aid in her search for the perfect husband. Let's cut to Anthony on the scene.
We're live in Central Park now with Miss Lily Bart. So, Miss Bart, do you think there's romance in the air today?
Well...
Lily, there you are.
Oh, hello, Gus. Excuse me for a moment.
Oh, it's always the same old story with you. I went to the party just to see you last night, and I couldn't even get near you. After I lent you all that money, you can't even spare 5 minutes time for me?
It's so nice to see you today. I always enjoy a surprise from a close friend. You, Judy, and I must have dinner together soon.
So, Miss Bart, back to romance. Have you found your true love yet?
Well, there is a special someone, but my mother told me that when considering marriage, never put love before money.
How sweet.
Lily, I was taking a stroll through the park and I couldn't help but notice your ravishing beauty.
Oh, Mr. Rosedale, you are too kind.
Yes, you know, I've got the money. And I want my wife to make all the other women feel small with my riches. You know, you could be that woman. If only you apologized to Bertha Dorset.
I'll work on that.
Wow, Miss Bart, you seem to have a great many options in your search for a husband. Tell me, what do you look for in a man and what do men look for in you?
Since I was young, my mother always stressed the necessity of money. And she taught me how to use a woman's assets, charm, and beauty to attain this.
Live from Central Park. Back to you in the studio, Lauren.
Thank you, Anthony, for the report. Let's take a look at a couple other interviews. We may first turn our attention to Miss Elizabeth Lavenza, soon to be Mrs. Victor Frankenstein. Anthony has an insider view of the couple's wedding. Let's take a look. Come in.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks, Lauren. Now, let's find out a little bit more about our dream couple, Elizabeth and Victor. Victor is out right now getting a gun, but I'm here with Elizabeth as she prepares for her big day. So, Elizabeth, how did you two meet?
Well, after my mother died and my stepmom no longer wanted me in the house, the Frankensteins took me in when I had no other place to go.
Wow, how lucky that you two met at such a young age.
Yeah, he's always been my cousin and playmate and kind of my brother. And now we're getting married.
I see. What a great foundation for a marriage. How did you two fall in love?
Well, he was kind of the only boy I ever met.
Ah, but how did you know he was the one?
Well, after Victor's mom caught the fever on my account, she said to us in her dying words, "My children, my firmest hopes of future happiness are placed on the prospect of your union. This expectation will now be the consolation of your father. Elizabeth, my love, you must supply my place to my younger children." And, well, after that, I pretty much knew my Friday nights were booked for the rest of my life.
Wow, how fortunate that she agreed with your choice to stay and take care of the Frankenstein family forever and marry the love of your life.
Forever.
Back to you in the studio, Lauren.
What a beautiful story. Our last story focuses on our recent widow, Louise Mallard. Let's see how she's coping and if love can really last forever.
What a beautiful day. Oh, flowers.
I'm here on the scene now with Mrs. Mallard. Mrs. Mallard, please. Mrs. Mallard, how tragic. Your husband dying in a horrible train accident. I can only imagine how you're feeling right now.
Well, at first, I cried and cried for my terrible loss. But to be honest, now I'm feeling free. Body and soul free.
Wow, your love is so strong. You can still find joy after your husband's death. That must have been a special kind of love that you had.
Yes, his kind and tender face never looked upon me save love.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, and I loved him. Sometimes. But often I did not. What does it matter?
How precious love is. Alas, how do you plan on going on with your life without the love of your life?
Well, I will live for myself. There will be no one to take care of, no one to get dinner ready for, no one to impress. There will be no powerful will bending me in that blind persistence with which men believe that they have a right to impose upon a private will upon a fellow creature.
Your life will be so hard.
Yes, well, but think about it. I can now associate with whomever I want, wear what I want, spend money how I want. I can only look forward to those beautiful spring and summer days, which will be all my own. I used to shudder at the thought of a long life, but now I can only pray that my life without my husband will be nice and long.
That sounds like quite the life.
Louise, I'm alive!
Well, I guess it's the joy that kills. What a beautiful ending. Now let's go to some words of wisdom from Lauren. Back to you in the studio.
Huh. I suppose these three love stories didn't really add up to a royal romance like we expected. The first was a search for love restricted by Miss Bard's dire financial situation and societal expectations. The next was an engagement bound by familial obligations. Finally, we saw a superficially happy marriage that was inherently oppressive. It seems that the women in each of these situations had limited options as a result of their relationships. The romantic and utopian schema of love is undermined by gender inequality. In a society still riddled with gender problems to this day, there is an increasing need for gender equality. Without this, the idea of true love will remain as just that, an idea. This has been 5 Minutes. I'm Lauren Ritter.